Hey guys, welcome back. So not too long ago, I was supposed to do the conclusion for Cosmic Ghost Rider, but I forgot. So with us talking about this now, I got a lot of questions that I'm gonna be asking throughout the course of this video, and I'm gonna need y'all to help me out in the comments, cause we gotta make it make sense. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch us spills every week, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications so we can squat up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so in our last talk, we left off with the two different Frank castles going head to head, only to have their fight ended early by the cosmic instability between the two of them, creating a huge bang, which knocked them both out, and soon after formed into another black hole, which also created the opportunity for the bounty hunter, Monarch Starstalker, to take advantage of the situation and grab the cosmic Ghost Rider furthest from the black hole, so he can turn him into the Shi'ar and collect his credits. But like we'd seen, Starstalker had ended up taking the trigger-happy cosmic Ghost Rider, out of convenience of course, while leaving the original Frank to drift off into the black hole, where he then landed on this random moon on the other side, where he found the other parts of himself, like his fear, his aggression, his cowardice, that had all been separated from him as a byproduct of him chasing a group of smugglers into a black hole, which was the recent explanation to what kicked all of this off. And for me, I can't do this conclusion without mentioning once again that this story just missed the opportunity of using Frank's prior experience to black holes, like what we were shown in 2019's Guardians of the Galaxy series when the Black Order crashed the Sanctuary during Eero's presentation of the last will and testament of Thanos, when the Silver Surfer also got pulled in, which kicked off the amazing story Silver Surfer Black. Frank, Beta Ray Bill, Phyla-Vell, and Moondragon were all able to avoid getting sucked in as a result of the Silver Surfer sacrificing himself and tying the cosmic Ghost Rider's chain to Stormbreaker, so that Beta Ray Bill and the others could all be pulled out. Cause I just think it would have made more sense if this moment had something to do with the cosmic Ghost Rider's issues, with him being on the tail end, barely making his way out of this black hole. Cause now it's like, why didn't this event cause him to go unstable? Or at least contribute to the more recent black hole having these strange effects on him. But either way, now we're just told that because of a black hole, each of these Franks will die unless they are all assembled back together. And now at this point, this is something that the original Frank, he's more or less figured out and pieced together through the course of this series with the help of Valkyrie and Axel. But if I may for a moment just share some brief thoughts, since we've now reached the conclusion, because as it stands, this cosmic identity crisis hasn't fully been explained by way of this story. So I just kind of wanted to put out there something that I was thinking as far as the cosmic Ghost Rider being baptized in a black hole and it causing his identity to split in all sorts of directions. Like, let's just run with that idea for a moment. We're gonna just roll with it. Because for me, I would like to think that there's a level of logic to this. Because if we'd been given an explanation that leaned into the idea of the existing issues of Frank Castle contributing to this sudden anomaly, because there's a long list to pull from, with the cosmic Ghost Rider being an amalgamation, with him starting as the Punisher who became the Ghost Rider, who later added to that the Power Cosmic, who may have gone slightly mad over the course of centuries, who perhaps already had a backstory of having a level of instability because of the unique concoction that he is and the centuries that he's been alive, many of which spent alone. All could have been used as a list of factors that contributed to a breaking point, if you will, with Cosmic Ghost Rider's identity splitting and having the black hole, if even using it at all, treated like a catalyst instead of a trope or MacGuffin. Because to me at least, it just seems like black holes in comics, for the longest time, they've just become this blank check for plot devices where any writer can just play it fast and loose and tie every questionable aspect of a story to that one thing, like it's the answer to it all. And I mean, that's just what I was thinking. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, cause maybe I'm tripping. But going back to the story, with Frank now seeing all these other portions of himself, he finds it to be a bit difficult to tell these Franks what he's come to know and try to get them all on the same page. Because for starters, when he tells them, they just don't believe him. And quickly this goes volatile, turning into an all-out brawl, which for the most part is a bit of a byproduct, or better yet just a display of how Frank Castle feels about himself at this point after living for so long. Because with him coming here and telling his other selves that none of them, including himself, are the true cosmic Ghost Rider, they quickly turn on him and each other. forcing Frank to use what minimal and short burst of power that he has in this moment to get their attention and get them to listen. But he goes on to let them know that none of them are the real Cosmic Ghost Rider because they're all parts of the same person. He's not complete without them and vice versa. So he goes on to tell them how this came about by way of that black hole that they almost fell into some time ago, and how he recently discovered that without each other they are dying. And now with hearing the details, they just laugh in his face. So Frank just proves it to them by telling one of these guys to use their full power, because if he's right, then they won't be able to. So one of them gives it a shot, only to quickly see his power fizzle out. But this then raises suspicion, because now this other Cosmic Ghost Rider thinks that Frank did something to them, so he just lets them know that all he did was tell the truth. And this proves that they're all getting weaker the longer that they stay apart. And now, because all of these Franks essentially want the same thing, because at the end of the day they're all the same person, it's here where they agree with the original Frank that they all need to come back together and fix this. But OG Frank lets them know that they need to make their way to the last missing piece of themselves first, who was captured by a bounty hunter with a terribly outdated hairstyle and a metal bird for a nervous system, which now causes them all to make their way from that distant moon on the other side of the black hole back to the area just outside of fueling station X987 to take the last Frank castle back from the bounty hunter Monarch Starstalker. And OG Frank goes on to tell them, even though their powers might be failing individually, they at least got the guy outnumbered. But back over on Starstalker's ship, he's made aware that his signal is being jammed. And though Ulysses believes that this is the work of the Cosmic Ghost Rider, we quickly find out that that's not the case, as they're then approached by a Shi'ar ship and given the order to unlock the security systems so that Gladiator can come aboard. Because as it turns out, though Monarch Starstalker was hired by the Shi'ar to bring in the Cosmic Ghost Rider, suspicions were raised because of Starstalker's absorbent fee. So as a result, they sent out Gladiator, since they already wired Starstalker the credits and they want to make sure that he makes good on his bounty. So with coming here, Gladiator tells Starstalker that he wants to see the cargo, so he agrees. But with opening the door to the holding cell, they both quickly see that the trigger-happy Cosmic Ghost Rider isn't there. But they soon discover where he actually is when they hear a toilet flush, and the second Cosmic Ghost Rider just comes strolling out, insinuating that he just dropped something very hot and ungodly. And next, after neglecting to wash his hands, the second Cosmic Ghost Rider takes his chances in a 2 against 1. But suddenly, when a thud hits the top of the ship, their attention is directed to outside, where OG Frank and the other Frank castles have now made their way here, so that they can get their merge on. And it isn't too much trouble for them to force their way into Starstalker's ship, since Gladiator recently forced Starstalker to unlock his security, which happened to work in the favor of Frank and the others. And from here, with trouble getting stirred up rather quickly, Valkyrie and Axel then make their way over to the ship, with this being a clear sign that Frank had made his way back. But when they get on the ship, Valkyrie calls for the rider, only to then have all the riders respond to her, which then has her confused, because she's not exactly sure who she needs to be punching right now. But after one look at Starstalker's face, the answer's pretty clear. But with all the riders not really being able to keep up this fight for long, Frank knows that he has to figure this out and get them all back together before any other complications come up. But because he found the other riders by creating a huge pocket of intense energy, he just figures that duplicating that same anomaly with all of them on the ship, it just might force them back together. Or it may just be a painful death for everybody aboard. So to create this anomaly, Frank races Starstalker's ship directly towards the Shi'ar ship's engine, and he tells Axel to get everyone out of there safely. But with her having no time to argue with Frank, or anyone else for that matter, she grabs Starstalker to get him out of there, even though she really doesn't care to, because the last time they met, this dude was about to kill her. But she's not thinking about that, she's just trying to save his life. But with her back turned to him, Starstalker handcuffs Axel to the ship so that she's not able to get away. And he tells her that he did this because last time they met, she bit his ear. Which, I mean, it's true, that's something that did happen, but I gotta say, that has to make Starstalker the most pettiest person in the galaxy for doing Axel dirty like that, for that reason of all things. But with Frank noticing that Axel is still aboard seconds before crashing into the Shi'ar ship, the next thing we see is the impact and explosion, surging with all sorts of cosmic energy, with Valkyrie watching and apologizing since she didn't get Axel out of there. But then a voice comes out from the Stardust, with us then seeing Frank Castle restored, as well as Axel safe and sound right behind him. Which also has me thinking, like, you know, in the case of Valkyrie, why would she ever think that somebody's dead? if she literally has the ability to see death looming over someone's head. But you know what? I'm not gonna linger on that. But after this, we find out that Gladiator is more or less just put in a word to the Shi'ar, with him witnessing firsthand the situation of there being multiple cosmic ghost riders. So going forward, Frank Castle is likely just gonna have to do some cosmic community service or something. So for him, that's pretty much the end of that. And with things being resolved for Frank, he apologizes to Axel once again for what his problems have brought to her in the death of her father. So she's more or less like, saving her from a giant explosion, buys him at least some forgiveness. But then she goes on to let him know if he really wants to say he's sorry, then he could give her his bike. So Frank lets her take the bike, but he tells her, just take care of his baby. But as Axel rides off, we then discover that going through a massive explosion with multiple Ghost Riders and a lot of cosmic energy has caused her to become a cosmic Ghost Rider as well, which now concludes this story with a the end and a big question mark, which hints to us seeing more of Axel in the future, which is something that I don't mind, but with just the way that this series was so rushed, it just causes me to have mixed feelings about it altogether. But I am super curious to hear you guys' thoughts down in the comments below, because I really want to know if it's just me, or if you guys might have a different take on it. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/Dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.